Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see quite many familiar faces, also members of our VASAB community. But for those who don't know, what is VASAB? It's a cooperation of ministers responsible for spatial planning of the Baltic Sea region countries. And we are uniting some 100 million people, Europeans, both members of EU and also non-EU countries. And that's maybe some specificity of our region, that we have also Russia and Belarus in our network. We have our own spatial vision and territorial cohesion perspective developed and approved by ministers in 2009. And one way how to follow the implementation of this territorial perspective is, of course, monitoring. And if we speak about our cooperation with ESPON, then it, I believe, dates back to the establishment of ESPON, and since then we have had a lot of common activities and projects. In particular, in relation to the monitoring, we already in 2010 had a proposal on our Baltic Sea region territorial monitoring system. And thanks to the support of the ESPON program, we managed to have such a project, and we managed to implement. And we have currently this system with a set of indicators, with a handbook, with other tools. And if you go to this website, it's still valid and actively used by our members and interested parties. But of course, the system was developed by one project, and once the project is ending, there is no update. And that's one of the reasons why we are looking towards new ESPON project on monitoring tools, the way how to continue with the system. And how we are using it. First of all, we use in advocating in different policy fields. For example, when there are discussion on accessibility, discussion on investments in TEN-T networks, then we go to European Commission, to Parliament, to show what is our accessibility needs, what are the gaps, and these are based on the research done by BSR TEMO project and the companies that provided input to this ESPON TEMO system. We are making our own studies based on the methodology provided by the BSR TEMO project, and this is one example, the study on development of the cities of the Baltic Sea region. You can have a brochure of this study here with us, and also download from our website, vasab.org. And here we enlarged the sample of cities, including 127 largest cities of the Baltic Sea region. And we used the data and methodology provided by the TEMO project, but also we added some policy pointers, some guidance for policymakers, how to improve particular aspects in relation not only to the accessibility, but also to social factors, inclusion, quality of life, education, and so on. And this was the core event of VASAB Polish chairmanship, the large conference in Warsaw related to the development of the cities and how we act for the next programming period. Similarly, not only VASAB itself, but also the research organizations that are active in the Baltic Sea region, they use the methodology and the data to provide different for us about the trends, challenges, and potentials that we have in the region. This is one example which was specifically developed for the annual forum of the Baltic Sea Region strategy by research institution Nordregio. They also have used this data to show specific policy areas like accessibility potential and to develop new approaches, interesting approaches like regional potential index, which was very actively and used by the general public and by politicians and of course by municipalities to compare themselves in this index. And also Nordregio is developing it further to showing what are the top municipalities and comparing how they are performing every year. So it's quite additional value that such basic indicators are providing to show the trends. Currently, we are conducting a new study on internal-external accessibility based on the same methodology. And the study, one of the aims of the study is to find out what the TEN-T investments will provide for the Baltic Sea region, whether it will really improve accessibility, in which part it will be simply relative improvement, where still are these gaps after this programming period and after even the next programming period. So these are examples how we are using the ESPON monitoring tools. And now the new part, which was already mentioned by Odd, since we are having quite complex exercise, this EU Baltic Sea Region strategy with many different sectors, which some of them have larger territorial implications. Some maybe do not see this territorial dimension. We are really in need of having a kind of evaluation. What is the impact of the strategy? What is impact of the strategy on the whole territory of the Baltic Sea region, on particular areas? What is success? Where is success stories of the Baltic Sea region strategy? Which areas are performing better? Which have to keep up? And since there are quite many policy levels, coordinational levels and operational levels, all these actors need some advice and assistance. How to measure success, how to measure progress in the implementation of the strategy. And this is where we are looking forward to the ESPON project on monitoring tools. We are planning a number of interactions between the project and the stakeholders in coming months in order to establish what are the proper indicators and establish also the coordination mechanism. And I'm very much looking forward to the success of this new ESPON project. Thank you.